You think today?
Yes. A Amid Aleph. Masechta Shabbos 80. Tana Shtei Oisiyos Vidyo. Harold is here.
Yeah, somewhere. Kenny is here.
And Kenny. Good morning, Kenny.
Morning. Good morning.
Chodesh, Boker Tov.
Harold is in and not in.
Boker
Harold?
Tov, Chodesh Tov.
So we're on Daf Pei Amid Aleph on the top. Tana Shtei Oisiyos Vidyo. If you carry ink, you have to have the shear of writing two letters. By the way, we should realize that when you carry ink, you have to carry it in something. So that's something that you carry it in. You're not over for that unless you have the proper, like an ink well or something like that. You're not chayav for that unless there's the proper amount of ink in it. We're going to see examples of that. Rashi's going to tell us later on about many examples. If you, for example, have an implement that's got food in it, if you don't have the right amount of food in the implement, you're not chayav for the implement either, for the kli that's holding it. Because those things are tafel to the ikr. The ikr is the food. And therefore, if the food or the ink does not have the right shear, then you're not chayav for carrying whatever the ink was in. Because that's why it says ushtei osiyos bakumus. If you have an ink pen but doesn't have enough ink to write two letters, you're not chayav. Or shtei osiyos bakalmorin. I think that's like an inkwell. Boy Rava, ois achas b'dio, ois achas b'kumis, ois achas b'kalmorin mau. So let's say you carry these different things. Is there hitstarfus between the various implements and the dio that's in it, and it's left with a teku. So it's a suffer. Rava, hotzi shtei osiyos. If you took out a pen with enough ink to write two letters, uksaven kashu mahalech, and as you're walking, you write, let's say on your shirt or on your arm. You see, remember, for carrying, there has to be an akira in Rishus HaYachid. It means you have to pick something up in Rishus HaYachid, and you have to put it down in Rishus HaRabbi. So, of course, if the person came to rest, if he stopped, so then that's a hanacha's kufa. That would be hanacha. That there's no shayla that he'd be chayiv for carrying because it was an akira and hanacha. But the Gemara is telling us something else here, that the writing of ink on something is its hanacha. So even if you did not come to rest and you wrote while you were walking, you're chayiv. Because ksivasun zui hanachasa. Writing is the hanacha for the ink. Rava, hoitzi ois achas uksava. He took out ink in a pen only for one letter, and he wrote. L'chazer v'hoitzi achas uksava, and then he wrote another. He took out he did it again. Patur. My timer. The idna the avkil of asraisa, because when he wrote the other one, chasher le'lashir the kamaisa. There's no starfus now. There's no because you got to write two letters at the same time, and it's not mitzarf either if you do it in two separate times. In a similar vein, you took out half of a groigris of food and you put it down. And then you took out another half. Rishona Nasa Kamishakolta Kelav Ushanisrafo. There's also no hit starfus. Because you gotta when you do an akira anach, it's gotta be at least kegroigors. And even if there's because the first one is as if a dog ate it or got burnt up. What doesn't understand? What do you mean, why not? It's not burnt up or a dog, you put it down. So why can't we say there's a starfus of the half and the half? So Hachikam, if you put it down a half, and you put another half down, you'd be chayav. The case of your potter is before you put the other one down, you lifted the first one. It's as if the other one is sort of in suspended animation. But the Amarav, if after you put the first half of the amount of the food down, you took the other half and you sort of suspended in the air over the first one, chayiv. It didn't come to rest because we're talking about kigon shavira toch shlosha. You were within three tfachim from the ground and from the item, and we bring out our old friend kluta, kamisha hun chadami. Right? If you're within 3 tfachim, it's a fictional concept that it's sort of fictionally looked as if it's on the ground already. So, in such a case, it's considered as if you carried out the 2 halves at one time. There's a machlokas between Rabbi Kiva and Chacham regarding kluta, that according to Chachamim, the thing has to dwell over something within 3 tfachim, over something at least a mashum. How come we said before it doesn't have to need anything? So it depends. Lo kasha kan bezoyrek kan b'mavir. It means if you throw something from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaRabim, so then there's this debate whether it has to come to rest or not on something that's a gabi amashu. But b'mavir, if you're holding it in your hand, then there's no machlokas regarding that issue. It's considered that it doesn't need to be over something that's a mashu. Torabonon, hotzi chatzi groigrois, chazav hotzi chatzi groigrois behelam echad chayiv. So if you took out a half and you put it down, you took out a half and you put it down, like we said, you're chayiv. But that's only if you did it in one period of forgetfulness, like you forgot that today is Shabbos or that this malacha is aser. If you did it and you took out a half and someone told you, oh, you know what? This is aser to do. Oh, okay. And then you forgot again, you took out another half, that's called tu alamos, then there would no be hit starfus. Rabbi Yossi Omer, behelam echad l'rishus echad chayiv. In one period of forgetfulness, and you took it to one Rishus HaRabim chayiv. Lishtei Rishuya is potter. However, let's say your house, which is a Rishus HaYachid, fronts 2 different Rishus HaRabim that's divided by a wall. Let's say the Berlin Wall that divided into, and somehow your house bisected that wall. So you could enter into either Rishus HaRabim. So according to Rabbi Yossi, if you carried a half of grogris into one Rishus HaRabim, then you went back into your house and you carried a half of grogris into the other Rishus HaRabim, there's no itzarfus. Right? There's got to be, when is there a tour? When there's something that divides, that's mamish going to make the 2 areas separate. Like there's a Rishus HaYachid in between the 2 Rishus HaRabim. Of a Carmelis, if there was a Carmelis, which is a area that's only rabbinically usher, like a meadow that's 5,000 square amis, the other things of a Carmelis, which does not make it Rosh Hashanah. Like our streets are probably a din of a Carmelist because we don't have that many people going through them. So it's only rabbinically also. So if a Carmelist divides these two Rosh Hashanah, then it would not serve as a hefsek. And even if you carried it into one Rosh Hashanah half and the other into a different Rosh Hashanah, then there would be a starfus that would make you chai. Abaye disagrees and says, I feel a Carmelist, that even a Carmelist divides the two Rosh Hashanah into two separate Rosh Hashanah. Aval pisla lo. Pisla is like a piece of wood that's on the ground. That's already divides the Rosh Hashanah. However, Rav Amar, and therefore you would be chayv if you carried it into the two Rosh Hashanah. Rav Amar filu pisla. Rav says even a small thing like a pistol will also give you a heter, that not a heter, but not a chiyuv chatas, if you carried half into one Rosh Hashanah and half into another Rosh Hashanah divided by a pistol. The same laws apply regarding gittin, where if, for example, if a person throws a get into the chutzner of his wife, that he loaned that chutzner to his wife, so the woman is divorced because it fell into her. It doesn't have to be in her hand. The courtyard is in her hand. What if it fell on a pisla? So according to Rava, she would still be megai. She would still be a divorced woman because it's not considered. She would not be divorced because it's considered like a different rishus. It's not. It's different than the chutzner. That's consistent with what we're saying here, that the pisla is a proper division between the two Rosh Hashanah. So that if you throw chatzi gorgas to one, chatzi gorgas to the other, there won't be a chiv chatas, there won't be a starfus. Okay. Mishnah. Kechol, the amount of makeup to carry on Shabbos is kedei lichol ayin achas. Enough to put makeup on one eye. Ayin achas haloi kachli, but that's not considered makeup unless you do two eyes. Rashi says that the women would go out wearing a veil. We had this before, and only one eye was revealed. And therefore they would only put makeup on one eye. It depends, this chol was carried, for what reason you were carrying it. Sometimes you'll use a medicinal preparation even to treat one eye. So if the purpose of the carrying the chol was for refuah, the shear is just one eye. Im lakashet, but if it's for adornment, there it's two eyes. So how could you say ayin achas is enough? We have a baraisa that says you need two eyes. People who lived in villages, Rashi says, and they don't need such, they're not so sanua because there's not so many people around. In a big city, women were very modest because there's a lot of people around. But in a village, they didn't have to wear the veil. There's not much schot for kalas rosh matzu sham, and there's not as many people, and therefore they don't veil their face, says Rashi, and therefore there they do put cosmetics on both eyes. Okay. Shava kedei al pinekev cotton, wax, enough wax to plug up a small hole. Tana kedei al pinekev cotton shel yayin, like you have a jug of wine which has a hole in it, and you use the wax to plug the hole. Devek kedei litin barosh hashafshaf. Shafshaf is like a piece of lumber, and they would use glue, to build with the lumber. So they enough to anoint the piece of lumber with the glue. I guess hunters would put glue on top of a piece of wood, and the birds would get stuck by the glue. And so that's the shear that would make make the glue a davar chashuv enough, because the hunters would use that amount of glue to trap birds. Zeves v'gofis kedei lasos. What about pitch and tar? Tana kedei lasos nekev katan. Again, enough to fill up a defect that you would use pitch and tar to seal. Charsis kedei lasos pikur. Some kind of clay that you would use to also fill up the hole of a like an oven that a goldsmith or silversmith would use. The Meimer Deshir Rabbi Yehuda Nafish, and Rabbi Yehuda gave a different shear. So, and it seemed like the shear that Rabbi Yehuda gave was a larger shear. But the Gemara says we have a rule. Hakaimalan, the shear Rabbanan Nafish. Whenever there's a debate between Rabbi Yehuda and the Chachamim, the Rabbanan always had a larger shear. The Snav, Omer, Kedeli Toli Menu Midas Mina Lakatan. Like we had when we talked about rope, we said it could be either enough rope to put on a pail that you would carry a pail, and Rabbi Yehuda said no, it's enough rope that they would measure a child's foot to see what size shoe to give him, and that's a smaller shear. So what's about here? So Ema Kedei Lasos Put Kira Ktana. The Rabbi Yehuda says Yerichanami. It's enough to put on a small oven, which is a smaller shear. Subin Kedei Litin Al Pikur Shel Tzorfei Zahav. Subin is like bran. It's enough to fill up a hole in a goldsmith's oven. Now we're on Pei Amid Beis. Tan Rabbanan, Motzi Seyar, somebody carries hair, enough to put into clay. I guess they would add this to clay to strengthen it. And how much clay? Tit, lasos pikur shel tzorfei zahav. Also to fill a hole of a goldsmith's oven. Then sid is lime. Is kedei lasud is to put a certain amount of lime. Tana kedei lasud etzba ketana shababamas. And they used to use it as a depilatory to remove hair from women, and to enough for one finger by a girl. Amar Vidam Arav, Bnos Yisrael Shigila Pirkam Lo Yigila Shanim. If they've reached maturity, but they have not reached the right age yet, so they had premature puberty, so they wanted to get rid of the hair. Bnos Aniyim Toflos Osan Besid. So the poor girls would get rid of the hair using lime. Bnos Ashirim, wealthier women, Toiflois Oisan Besoilis, they would use fine flour. Bnois Malachim, Toiflois Oisan Beshemen Amor. They would use special myrrh oil. Shinamar, by Esther Amalka, it says Chadosh Beshemen Amor. My Shemen Amor, Rav Huna Bar Chia Omar, stocked. It's some kind of perfumed oil. Rav Yirmiyah Bar Abba Omar Shemen Zayis, Shlo Hevia Shlish. It's olive oil that the olives were not ripened to at least a third of what they normally would ripen to. Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Anpiknoim. Anpiknon is also some kind of oil that they would use medicinally. Is Shemen Zayis Shlo Hevia Shlish is also olive oil that had not reached a third of its ripening. The lama sachino. So what did they use that for? Shemashis asayar. It removes hair. Uma'adin abasar, and it makes the skin glow. It was like a moisturizer. Rav Bibi Havalei Barta. Rav Bevoy. Right. Rav Bibi had a daughter. Tafla Aver. He used to anoint his daughter, all of his limbs, with this anpiknon. Therefore, he got a nadin for her. Shokol ba arba mea zuzi. In the times of Chazal, the father would get paid for a beautiful daughter. It wasn't like a Naden in Europe was where the father's family father would give the prospective chassan money. That was the Naden. But in the times of Chazal, it was the opposite. So he was able to get, on behalf of his daughter, 400 zuz. So there was a certain non-Jew in the neighborhood of Rav Bibi who had heard about this. Havale Barta, Tafel B'chad Zimna, Umesa. So you could see, Rav Bibi did it aver. He didn't anoint her whole body at one time. He did an arm one day, another arm the other day, the leg the other day. Means it was done piece by piece. The neighbor didn't know that, and he did it in one shot, and the girl died. Omar, so in the neighborhood, the saying went, Kotel Rav Bibi Labarti, or he went around saying, Rav Bibi killed my daughter. Rav Nachman, Rav Bibi the Shasi Shichra, Rav Bibi drank a lot of beer, Boyan Bante Tafla. So they could withstand this treatment, the daughters. It sort of strengthened their skin or whatever their physiology. Anon de lo shasin and shichra lo be'inan benasan tav. Oh, because if you drink beer, I guess you have more hair. The hair gets darker. So we don't drink beer, so we don't need it. Our daughters don't need this. Their skin is nice even without the treatment. Rav Yehuda Oimer, Kedei Lasud Kilku, that he gave a different shear for the lime. We don't know what that is. My Kilku, Umay Andipi. Mishnah said both the Amarav, Sida Uvas Sida, the temple and the area below the temple. So they used to use this shemen to anoint that area. Which again is a stira because Lamema Deshir Rabbi Yehuda Nafish. That seems to be more than an aver cotton, right? We said the chachamim is kedei lasud etzba ktana shebabonos, and this region, the temple and the area below the temple, seems to be a larger shear. And hakaimal on the shear Rabbanan Nafish. We said before as well that Rabbi Yehuda always has a smaller shear. So the Gemara says, yeah. Zutum in Rabbana, that shear is smaller than the shear of Rabbana, but more than Rav Nechemia. But the Nafish from Rav Nechemia. And that fulfills the dictum. Meisvei, Rebbe, near the Rabbi Yehuda b'chavut. The sheet of Rabbi Yehuda makes sense. B'chavut. That's where Sid Hanimuach b'mayim harbe, it's been soaked in water, and therefore could be used for this gentle area, the sensitive area. V'diver Nechemia the Beit Sasasid, and when Rav Nechemia gave Yishir, that's Rashi says Hanikva b'mayim basu beitzim hu asu l'sudan dipi. It was also had some egg in it. Now the Isak if you tell me it's a temple, so Aidi v'Aidi Chavut, so there they use this water treatment without the egg. Amar Yitzchak Amar Dini Andipa. That's going for the Andipa, which is not the human face, it's a klicheres. It's some kind of pottery. It's got two holes in it, and they would use it to fill that area. The lime would be used to fill that hole. Is a person going to lose money to put? Because I guess they would put wine in it, and they would add it to just for some kind of kli. No, they wouldn't do the whole kli. Shnosis are like, think about a beaker that had marks that said a half a liter, a liter, a liter and a half. It's just measuring marks. So you didn't need a lot of line. Kedisna. Shnosos hayu bahin. Right, in the Beis Hamikdash, they had a kli called the hin, right? Because a par is chatzi ahin, and an ayel is a shlishi sahin, and a keves is reviya sahin. So they needed like a graduated cylinder with markings, so that when they filled up the shemen zayis, they would know how high to fill it, right? Ad kam lapar, ad kam la'ayel, ad kam lakeves. Boy sema, another pshat in Andipa, my Andipa aputa. Metzach is the forehead, not the temple. V'chiyadahu bar Galil, there was a certain Galilean, the Ikla Bavel, he came to Bavel, the Amrle, kum droshlan b'maiser merkava. We want to hear a drosh on Maiser Merkava. Maiser Merkava is the droshos of the first parak of Yechezkel, which happens to be the Haftorah that we're going to read Mirz Hashem this Friday, which is the Haftorah of Matan Torah, which is first parak of Yechezkel, which is the vision of the chariot that Yechezkel had, and the two areas of mystical learning that Chazal learned at that time that were secret were two, Maiser Merkava and Maiser Bereshis. Maiser Bereshis, we could think of perhaps maybe as the secrets of creation, like the Big Bang, science, astronomy, biochemistry, all the various, that's Maiser Bereshis. Maiser Merkava, I believe, really falls more into the spiritual realm. What are the Ofanim? What are the Chayos? That is, I think, Kula Ruchnius. Maiser Bereshis could also be in the Ruchnius realm, but there are people who believe that Maiser Bereshis is more an understanding of how the world worked, how the world was created. But Maiser Merkava, so they asked this person who apparently knew Maiser Merkava to darshan. Armelahu, Edrosh L'chuki, the darshan of Nechemia L'chavri. I'm going to darshan the way Rav Nechemia darshan to his chaver, because these subject matters could not be darshan publicly. There was an isser. You had to do it one-on-one. Nafkar itam in kutla, but even that way, there was some kind of hakpada that it shouldn't be taught that way, and a wasp came out of the wall. Nafkar isam in kusla umachte bandipi bit him on the forehead umis, and he died. The armele min delay dole. I guess he wanted to darshan a little, maybe more in public than he was supposed to, and Mida is so slow. It was a Mida connected Mida, he wasn't supposed to do it. Mishnah. Adama, how much dirt do you have to carry? These are big bags. And I guess if it had a hole in it, they would use it to, they would carry big wood for ships, says Rashi. And they would seal it with this. Rabbi Kiva. For letters. Right? And they would seal up a letter that nobody else could read it. Then Zevel, which is fertilizer, chol, sand, adak, fine sand, is kedela zabel kelach shel kruv, enough to fertilize a cabbage head. The chachamim ma'amim kedela zabel kresha, enough to fertilize leeks, which which is smaller than a cabbage head. So here, the Chachamim are less than Rabbi Akiva. Remember, we had Rabbi Yehuda was always less, but here the Chachamim are less than Rabbi Akiva. Cholagas, that's thick sand. Kedeliten ad melo kafsid. I guess they would put sand in lime to make cement. So it's enough to put a spoonful into lime. Kane reeds, kedei lasos kulmus, enough to make a pen. Maya ave omer is what's thick reed. If you use it as fuel, it would be enough fuel that you could cook an egg. Or the easiest egg, the Gemara will tell us which one that is. Trufa, that's already been open and like mixed. Unasuna ba'ilfas, it's already in the frying pan, ready to go. So amlo kapsid. So we said that the shear for thick sand is enough to put in lime to make cement. The sayodim were like the plasterers, and they would have a certain, whatever that implement that, the plasterers have like a flat metal thing that they plaster walls with. So it would be enough to put on that implement. Mad Tana Dechol Malile Lasid. Who is the Tana that said that sand is good for lime to make cement? Amrav Chizda Rabbi Yudi, the Tanya. Lo Yosud Olam is based on the Sid Elam Ken Iri Botev Nachol. So after the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, because of Avelus of Yerushalayim, we still have that din that when you paint your house, you're supposed to leave a corner of your house unpainted as a Zecher L'Chorban. So Rabbi Yehuda said, not only that, you should not prepare the plaster in the best possible way because it's too white because of the Chorban. So if you're going to use lime, make sure you put straw or sand in it. Well, that's the Chachamim. Rabbi Yehuda Tevin Mutter Chol Aser. The Neshu Traxid. He didn't want you to use sand because it made it look even better and stronger. And therefore, don't use it because of the Chorban. But so you see here that it's Rabbi Yehuda who felt that Chol is very positive for lime. Rav Amar Filu Temer Rabbanon, Kilkulo Zeu Tikuno. That means ruining it is what we want, because for the Chorban, it's mutter to be mishtamesh with sid that's been damaged a little bit. So you could say that even the Chachamim, by saying you could put chol on it, was in the same sheet. Taking out a reed, we said, is if the reed is big enough to make a pen, so that's the shear. The pen has to reach, I guess, the end of your joints. So the Gemara doesn't know what's joint. Boy Ravashi, Kesher Elyon or Kesher Atachton? Is it the joint that joins the hand to the wrist, or maybe to the to the beginning of the hand here? Kesher Elyon shel emtza yad, or Kesher Atachton shel emtza etzba. I think it's probably here versus here. This is Kesher Elyon, this is Kesher emtza. So it's Teiku. So we, of course, with Hilchos Shabbos, we would paskin l'chumra in the Suffolk. If the reed was thick, then the shear would be the enough fuel to make an egg, to fry an egg. Tana trufa b'shemen, they would put oil in it, unasuna be'ilfas, and already mixed up in the frying pan. Armalei mar braid ravina ravrei. Mish milcha beitza kalamahi. Which is the easiest egg to cook? That's called a beitza kal. Armalei be'asa de tziltzula. It's a small bird. It's Streptopila sengalanesis. These are one of the smallest types of like pigeons or doves that were found in Eretz Yisrael. My time, why are their eggs so easy? Mishum de Zutra, because they're small. Ema did Sifra. So, well, they're smaller birds. The Sifra says a smaller bird. Ishtik, he didn't know what to answer. Omer lay, so he responded, have you heard something about this? The easiest egg to cook is Beitzas Tarnagolas, is a chicken's egg. Umay karule Beitza Kala. Why is it called an easy egg? There's no easier egg to cook than a chicken's egg. That's probably where that's why they came up with the word over easy. Because it's called a Beitza Kala. Kala is like easy. How come by all other food items, when it comes to Shabbos, the shear of carrying them is kegroigos? Here, we used a different shear. We said the shear of carrying out a reed is enough reed to be able to cook a beitza, which is an egg. Why don't you say kegroigos worth of egg or kegroigos worth of other food? Or Meleachim Rav Nachman, kegroigos b'meitza kala. In a chanami, it is kegroigos. It's a fig's worth of an egg. So you're eating an egg, you could cook an egg, but all you need is a kegroigos. Okay. So we said that tomorrow we will learn at 8 p.m. Okay?